So, if you're going to coach your daughters really going into dating, this is the this is the lifestyle that she's been kind of primed into. And the question is, was it worth it? Was chasing all the bad boys worth it? Just to end up with the same guy you dated in your early 20s. Was it worth all the damage? Now, we got a ton of amazing albums out of it, but what is this doing to her developmentally? Like, is this normal? That's not normal in human history to have that many damage, like have that much swinging between variety and different kinds of damage. That many breaks in your life, right? That's like one a year, one every 2 years, right? And who's to say Travis is the end of it? Like, but the question is, like, I look at really Lautner and Travis to be on the same level. Like, realistically, you know, looks wise, energetically, there's the same level. I think she recognized in him what she could have had in him and just went back to home base, really. Reserve, you know, I think she recognized that this was destructive and I should have ended up with him, but he was already married at the time with a family. And I think she was watching him too. And she's like, well, what could have been? And it's been chasing bad boy after bad boy. Like this is the apex bad boy, the apex example of Taylor Swift punching above her weight class was Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal is incredibly intelligent, is emotionally complex, is a good looking guy, right? So you can sleep with them, okay, but you can't get commitment from them if you're punched. That takes an independent third party to be like, listen, these guys just want to have fun. Like, you need to lower your expectations for what you can get commitment from. All right, it's not about just sleeping with it and then getting disappointed because you slept with them, and they didn't stay around, they didn't get commitment. And I think I think all too well she wrote about Jake Gyllenhaal. Like realistically, this was like, her. I think he was the unicorn. Um, I think like when I look at Harry Styles and I look at Hiddleston, if you combine these two, you get Jake Gyllenhaal, right? So she's like, she couldn't have him, he left. She's stuck on him. So she dated a bad boy, but he was a little too weak and femmy. And then she dated a sophisticated man above her class, I would argue. He's smarter than her, more complex. And she couldn't lock him down. And then you get bad boy, bad boy, bad boy, which are all downgrades from Jake and all downgrades for the combination of these two. And then she's like, okay, well, let me just go back to nice guy. So bad boy, what was it worth it to just go back to work? Because like you could avoid all this heartbreak, all this damage to them, to yourself, whatever, and just been with the guy that you started with, right? And it's just about appreciating what you have. Like she could have built the family here, still had her career, whatever, and just avoided all this damage. She could have moved into wifehood, into motherhood, etc. And so it's like, like this lifestyle, it's like, well, I know it's common but is this what you want for your daughters, and is this what your daughters want for yourself? I think this her actual choices, because I mean, she's a very visible billionaire. She has options, right? I think she's like, okay, she watched him get a family, etc., get a wife, etc. And she's like, well, I can't have him. I'm gonna find yourself or someone like you, right? So, probably the fatherly guidance was, hey, look at this full circle, and at any time you want to stop and find the guy at your level, right? And it'll seem like settling. Well, the question is, are you the equivalent of Jake Gyllenhaal? Is she the equivalent of Tom Hiddleston or Harry Styles? Harry Styles is a goofball, but Hiddleston, on the other hand, versus Swift, I mean, you don't have a he's overmatched. They're a good balance, and she could have just settled for him and be happy, but it's hypergamy. You always got to be chasing the best you can possibly get. And what does that get you? Get you pulled away from the one you should have stayed with. So, and a bunch of damage. Wah, wah.